Warning! Warning! This video contains heavy doses of nostalgia, rose-tinted glasses, and this annoying voice that won't shut up for the next remainder of the video. Proceed with caution. There are certain pieces of media that play a big part of someone's life as a kid. Especially if you're watching this right now, let's be entirely honest here. Whether it's a film, a TV series, a game, book, whatever, there's always going to be those things you're slightly obsessed with as a young'un. Things that you, you like, and things you subscribe to. For me, well, I've already made a video about one of those slight obsessions, and hey, it turned out pretty well. Want to see me do it again? Beast Quest! Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you've not. I can't find any recent specific numbers, but the series had sold over 20 million units across the world a couple of years back. For comparison, the Hunger Games trilogy sold about 60 million, so it's certainly a decent number. Of course, that's kind of a misleading point because, oh my god, there's so many books in this series. With each book focusing on one, occasionally two, different monstrous beasts, I suppose I could call it my very own Pokemon while growing up. Yes, back then I did think that Mew evolved into Mewtwo, but damn it, I could tell you the names, strengths, weaknesses and abilities of every single beast our cast goes up against in the first 11 series. Now, I should probably give a quick overview on what exactly the books are about, right? And you probably want to know just how fucked up they get. So, enter our main protagonist, Tom. Yes, just Tom. He's like your Ash Ketchum, Luke Skywalker, and Link No Second Name all rolled into one, and if he was a spice, he'd be flour. Yes, he's pretty, very basic. He's brave, loyal, kind-hearted, and doesn't really have many flaws or go through any character arcs. That being said, he's certainly not bad. He's someone for kids to look up to, and clearly he does that job well. I know it did for me. And it's not like he's an entirely static character. Like I said, he's Ash Ketchum, and that in this case he just refuses to visibly age. But it's actually nice seeing him go from a novice adventurer to much stronger, not just because of collecting magical tokens, but also as a warrior and a person. And we get to see him training other wannabe adventurers quite constantly in the later stages of the books, which is honestly pretty sweet. I think he's certainly a lot better on paper, quite literally, you'll see what I mean, when your mind can fill in a lot of the blanks of the book, instead of we will get you, we will get you, we will get you, we will get you. Elena is pretty good actually. Still good-natured and also without much of an arc. She still has much more of an attitude than Tom, and the two have a really fun dynamic. No romance or anything of the sort, just really good friends who look out for each other. She's almost never a damsel in distress, and honestly kicks just as much ass as he does without taking away from our protagonists. Great member of the cast. There's a couple of animal buddies in there too, with a stallion named Storm and a domesticated wolf, Silver. It's not like they can talk or anything, so they've not got much personality to speak of, but it's cute to see the duo treat them so well, not much else to say there. Those four are the main, beast questing troupe. Outside of that you have Aduro, who's the good wizard who does pretty much what you'd expect him to do. Give the heroes their mission, and then occasionally act as, a damsel in distress. He's about as basic as he looks, but to be entirely fair, the series does take him in directions you really wouldn't expect once you get far enough. Outside of that, there's nobody else to really write home about outside of the villains, and oh, they're great. Malvol, Velmo, yes, really. Petra, Seth, and much more. True, most of them are far from what you call deep. In fact, quite the opposite. I really think they're all just evil for the sake of it. Hell, I swear the main antagonist in a couple of the series is just a big old reference to Rita Repulsa. But they're entertaining as hell and genuinely threatening sometimes. Let me tell you now, they are defeated in ways you might not expect for a series aged 7 and up. But oh, we'll get there momentarily. For now, well, let's talk about the namesake of the series, the main reason literally anyone will start reading it, and what is thankfully one of the singular best parts of it, the beasts themselves. There are almost 200 of these monsters throughout the various novels, and it's actually pretty fascinating to see how they evolve as the series progresses. At the very beginning, say, the original trilogy of the series, the beasts were all very clearly inspired by monsters from our world. Myths and legends, cryptids, what have you. Dragons, phoenixes, the yeti, sea serpents and krakens, or just larger versions of scary animals like spiders or mammoths. Occasionally you'd have the more unique creature, but it was few and far between, and that was absolutely fine. It didn't take long for them to start running out of draws from legend though, or maybe they just wanted to be more creative. And at that they certainly succeeded. Series 4 through 6 had cave trolls that turned you into stone when scratching you, armoured humanoid insect queens, and whatever the hell Trema is. There were still a hefty heaping of giant animals, but even they were becoming more creative and terrifying. Because, come on, look at some of these and tell me they aren't horrifying for a series for 7 years and up.
God love Beast Quest!
7, 8 and 9 have some of my favourite, most out there beast designs of the series. I think it's the perfect mix of more steeped in legend monsters that the series begun with, and the maybe slightly too weird and out there designs it's currently going with. Oh, yeah, it's ongoing. 11, 12 and 13 are a mixed bag. While some of the beasts here also rank high as some of my highlights of the series overall, with some hardcore or some pretty wonderfully messed up designs. There are definitely a handful that are a bit too out there, or even a bit too similar to what had come before. 14 was where I finally fell off the series, in part because I just felt like I had outgrown the books, and in part because they had started to get smaller, even reduced in size from 6 books to 4 per series. But I think the designs were part of that as well. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20 do have some really good designs in there. Not many I would call top tier, but the occasional one. But I'd say there's a lot more average there than great. Not even Red 15 to 20, and sadly I do not intend to buy a total of 20 books aimed at 7 and up anytime soon. There's also the bumper books, specials with dubious canonicity that are double or triple the length of the usual Quest novels, and with beasts to match. There are some truly horrifying bastards in the bumper editions, and certainly some of my favourite stories. And that actually leads nicely into my original reason for making this video in the first place, after revisiting the series for so long. Something I really wasn't expecting. And that is how unyieldingly brutal it is. It bears repeating that this series is specifically geared towards children, mostly boys let's be honest, age 7 and up. So at the same time they're catching up on the latest wholesome adventures of Biff, Chip and Kipper, they're also experiencing Tom doing what he does best. It's not that bad, right? Right? Enter Seth. For the first trilogy of book groups, he acts as kind of Tom's rival, the secondary villain working under the evil wizard Malville, that's the main antagonist of those 3 series. He's roughly the same age as Tom and ends up going against our heroes a good handful of times over the first adventures. Now, in most book series, I imagine, hell, in most series in general going for a kid or even teenage audience, I imagine he would have some kind of redemption arc. Think Zuko or maybe even Sasha from one of my last videos. Here? What the fuck, Blade? Okay, he doesn't actually die like that. It's kind of worse. It's not an illusion or anything, he's just on the brink of death. Our heroes find him and try to heal him with a phoenix talent. They can do that, long story. And when he regains consciousness, he then tries to straight up kill himself. And then that's pretty unsuccessful. His body starts to change and warp in what is apparently a very painful process, leading to a pretty harrowing scene where he's dubbed by the wizards as a beast. And yes, later they fight again, he gets shot in the neck, his tail cut off, and presumably crushed under a falling castle. Although, he does remain the singular beast in the series to have a genuinely unknown fate. Although, 17 series on, I don't think they intend to bring him back. Not every book is this brutal, but to be entirely honest, a lot of them are. Despite its audience, Beast Quest is not afraid to shy away from brutal injury, body horror, torture, and the occasional permanent death of full-on main characters. Yes, really, this does what Avatar wasn't allowed to do. Video on you one day soon, maybe. And it's absolutely amazing. In terms of what it is in a vacuum, I suppose I can admit that Beast Quest isn't anything particularly special. It's incredibly impressive just how long it's been going on, it's got excellent creature designs, and its story is one big epic battle between good and evil. And though it does go pretty far in showcasing that, you aren't going to find too much when it comes to depth for super complex characters or plot. Like, I know I just compared it to Avatar, but you most certainly wouldn't find characters that are worth 3-hour-long videos breaking down their motivations. Evil is evil for the sake of evil, and good is good because they don't want their kingdom burnt down and filled with dark magic. I mean, fair enough. But hey, for this, I don't mind that. It's an advantage of being aimed for such a young audience, but of course it can be enjoyed by anybody. I really don't want to say the utterly dreaded words of turn your brain off, but if you can enjoy a simple age-old clash of light and darkness, you'll definitely find something for yourself here. And maybe something more than fun. Like I said, it does tend to go places you didn't figure it would. Did you know there was a video game too? A fairly recent one, like only coming out in 2017 on consoles like the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. The same year that Breath of the Wild, Horizon Zero Dawn and Persona 5 came out. Okay, I want to be slightly fair to this game in that I don't expect it to be anywhere near those levels of professional masterpiece. But it can at least be semi-decent? No, it can't be. Beast Quest the game is an abomination and lands quite firmly in the so bad it's good category for me. I haven't actually played it myself, and it doesn't look like I'm missing out on much when it comes to the actual gameplay. It looks about as basic and by the books as you can get for a fantasy RPG, but that's not the amazingly, terribly amazing part. That would be the story cutscenes. And the 5.5 minutes that they gave the writers, animators and voice actors to pull this together in.
I'm Lara. Everyone's busy. Our village was just destroyed.
That's terrible. What happened?
All I remember is hearing the screech of a bird. And then the fire started.
Screech of a bird?
What? But that's impossible! What have you done, boy? You are even weaker than your father was.
Don't you dare talk about my father!
Anyway, the less we talk about that game, the better. Or maybe I'll talk about it in a separate video, who knows. For now, I'll end this with an admission that no, if you like the sound of this series, I am not expecting you to go out and buy well over 100 books for reading. Which is why I'm recommending the Open Library, which I use to get most of the reading and pictures for this video. It's completely free and there's nothing shady about it. It's literally free books from the comfort of your own home. No, I'm not being sponsored by them, I wish I was. And with that, that seems to be all we have time for today. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, I would love to hear any sort of feedback or criticism. Let me know what I'm doing wrong, or even, somehow, what I might have done right. Trust me, I really would love to hear. Have a good day, everyone!